Now, when moving to a new city, what many people want to know is, what does it really look like out and about driving around? Going into that city and seeing it is one thing, or perhaps seeing a house in a particular town is another thing. What does it look like driving around? So I figured I'd just take you guys with me today. Right now, I am in the Ballantyne area of Charlotte, which is on the south side of Charlotte. Very popular, and the average price range is about the $800,000 mark. I am headed north. That's right, I'm headed up into Charlotte. If you haven't seen my other video where I am on the north side of Charlotte, driving into Charlotte from there, go take a peek. You'll get a nice, well-rounded view of what it all looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually take a little bit of 77. I'm gonna cut in onto South Boulevard more than likely, and we'll just see where the road takes us. There's so many different routes though. That's one thing I want to point out. There are a ton of routes to get you from this part of Charlotte into downtown and beyond. So let's go ahead and take a quick cruise and see what we see. So if you're looking for everything Charlotte, North Carolina, the good, the bad, and everything in between, you've come to the right channel. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to get notified the second I drop a video, which is fairly often, go ahead and hit that notification button and I'll be sure to notify you when it comes through. Now, I really do get calls, texts, and emails every single day from people just like you, looking to move to the Charlotte area or South Carolina, the border right there. And I wanted to let you know that if you're thinking of making the move, if you've been watching this channel or watching this video and you're thinking about it, whether it's 9 days or 90 days from now or further, whether across the country or just moving across town, give me a call, shoot me a text, an email. All my contact info is below in the description, and I want to hear from you. So give me a shout. Now, as I said, I'm going to take you guys on a quick drive through Charlotte. We're on the south side right now in Ballantyne. I'm gonna go drive up. We're either gonna take 77, we might take South Boulevard. Maybe I'll mix it up on you a little bit. But stay tuned, because our end destination is a place that I may or may not have already shown you. So let's go exploring. So right now I'm in one of the shopping centers, Torrington Shopping Center. This is in Ballantyne. About to go around Torrington Circle. Now there's a lot that's over here. You've got different places like Hickory Tavern, you've got a beautiful Pike Garden Nursery, massage center, restaurants, you name it, there's a bunch down here. So I'm going to show you a little peek of what this looks like. Now, one of my favorite restaurants, which yes, it's a chain restaurant, but it's more, I guess you could say Charlotte-centric, is Viva Chicken. If you've never had Viva Chicken, it is a Peruvian chicken place. I absolutely love it. My favorite, because I'm sure you're wondering, is the Viva Chicken Power Food Salad. Now, if you are hungry, skip past this because you're going to be more hungry by the time I go ahead and explain exactly what this is. But the Viva Power Food Salad has quinoa, and it has chicken and avocado and some little mandarin orange slices, and you name it, it's got it. It is absolutely delicious, and don't put the dressing on it. Nope. See, Viva Chicken is a Peruvian chicken place, and they have these really yummy dips that they have. Sauces, whatever you want to call them. I put the sauces on my salad. It's so worth it. So anyway, enough about me. Let me show you where we are right now. Just so you guys could get a peek of what it looks like over here, I have crossed under 485 just now because I want to show you guys what the other portion of Ballantyne looks like. So that you know, that over there is the entrance or the exit ramp from 485 on the south side. Right now we are headed down Johnston. Now Johnston is a huge road. It is a main vein that comes out of Charlotte and heads down all the way into South Carolina. So it kind of parallels of sorts I-77. Now off to the left there, there's a little bit more of the office park. But what's coming over the ridge right here is the Ballantyne Hotel and Spa. Talk a little bit about the Ballantyne Hotel and Spa. Absolutely gorgeous, luxurious, and along with that they have a golf course and, well, just about everything, which is pretty gorgeous. Now it does have a street that connects right there onto a bridge that takes you to an additional business park, and if I circle around this way, everything off there is a giant business park. I say giant business park. This was sold just a few years ago. It was the largest commercial sale in North Carolina history. That should give you a little indication of how big this business park is. Now, along with that, it doesn't mean that it closed down and reopened. It was just selling the commercial space. All the leases stayed intact. But this is a huge hub for attorneys, real estate, banking. I think Electrolux is I know Electrolux is on the north side. I don't think they have a southern location. But in addition to that, a ton of doctors and doctors' offices. So for example, like my OBGYN for my little one, when I had him, he's right over here as well. So if I turn around here, right over here is a ton of shopping. So you've got restaurants right in here. This is the Ballantyne Village. You've got a bunch of shopping, and then off to the right over this way is the Ballantyne, let's go ahead and get up onto it, Ballantyne Commons, and just beyond that is going to the Ballantyne Country Club up over here. So some of the most expensive homes in Charlotte are up to the right and to the left. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get off of this road. We're gonna go hit 485, but just to give you an idea of what this road really looks like, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a nice little drive coming through here. Now, traffic-wise, usually around rush hour, you are going to have a good bit of traffic that's going on. So there's the Ballantyne Country Club sign. We're going to pop in there for just a second as we turn around. But in general, the Ballantyne area is a hub for those who want a combination of luxury, be outside the city, family life. So you'll have a lot of people that are in the banking industry that live in this area. Also because their offices are fairly close by. Now the Ballantyne Country Club hosts numerous price ranges, but you're probably not going to find a whole heck of a lot under 800,000. In fact, usually they're north of $1 million. Now the house sizes also vary, but what you're going to find is a lot of the houses are 3,000 square foot or more. And again, I'm giving just complete averages here, all right, just to give you guys an idea. But it is a beautiful area, so let's go ahead and hop in and see what we see in the country club. So we are now entering the country club. As you can see, lots of golf carts. Whether you're actually golfing or not, golf carts are pretty common in here. A good little way to get around, especially if you're underage for driving a car. Golf cart might be the way to go. So you've got a variety of homes in here, some that are more new construction, some that have been around for a while, and a lot of the homes in here are homes that are just fully renovated, gorgeous properties. So let's take a look at some of these. So pretty. Now, in addition to the mixture of price ranges in here, you've got a mixture of styles. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't understand about Ballantyne is not just the Ballantyne Country Club, although some people do feel that way. It's a great place to live, but a lot of people also do not like having an HOA. They want a larger home, a nice home, but not an HOA in their community. So let's talk about HOA for a second. HOAs have a purpose, all right? I'm a no HOA person as well, because I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it, right? Who else is with me there? But here's the thing. If you want a beautiful community like this, it's gonna come with an HOA. Reason being is because you want to make sure everyone's following the rules. Rules like cutting your grass at an appropriate time, making sure your gutters aren't overflowing with sprouts. All of those things come hand in hand. What you will see in a community like this, and I think is really a running theme in Charlotte, is you can have a millionaire right next door to you and you would never know it. Why? Well, in growing up in New York, it was always keeping up with the Joneses, right? Who had the nicest car, the nicest clothes. It's not really like that here. See, some of the wealthiest people I know drive a Ford Fusion, right? They don't care for those kinds of things, but a lot of times they will make sure they have a nice house because that's where they're living. So although they don't wear the Rolex and they drive a Kia, doesn't mean that they are not either well connected or well off in the area, which I really like because everybody can commingle and it's pretty cool. So let's take a quick peek at the golf course and then I promise we will hit the road to head into Charlotte. Like I mentioned, one of the biggest downsides to Johnston is the fact that there is a lot of traffic. Now, if you're looking it up on a map, you could also look it up as 521, which is what I'm on right now. I'm now heading northbound. Here's what's going on. Lots of cars all the time. There's always going to be a lot of cars all the time. So that's one thing to keep in consideration. Now, granted, if you live in the Ballantyne Country Club neighborhood, there's not a whole lot of distance you need to cover before you hit 485. And 485 will take you to 77. 77 will take you to 85. We're just going to keep connecting the dots there. So there's a very easy path to get into the city. But if you live way further down on Johnston and you're all the way down into South Carolina, be prepared. You're going to have traffic. It's just something that's going to be really hard to avoid. So I want to point this out as we come to this stop here. So we're in the main intersection of Ballantyne Commons and Johnston, and you've got these pillars, arches, they're arches, in all four corners of the road. Let me zoom out here. In all four corners, I'll come back over this way. And this artwork, I think it's really pretty, but what they do, I don't know if you can see it, they've put in different pieces, different parts of history from the Carolinas onto these arches, and each of them are different. So just a little bit of art and history all combined together. So right now we are coming up on Pineville Matthews exit. So this is the exit for 485. And being I'm going north, we could technically go two different ways. Now I'm trying to hit 77. You can go to the right and you're going to hit the outer loop, or to the left and hit the inner loop. So there's a ton of construction happening over here, and they're installing designated lanes coming onto and off of 485 because it is such a main intersection onto Johnston, as you can see here. So a ton of construction always happening. The good thing is construction starts, but it also gets completed, something that doesn't happen in some other parts of the country. I feel like there's certain states and areas I've been to, New York being one of them, but they've always got construction happening, but it never seems to get completed. So looking at the front here, we are now on 45 on the south side of the city. You can see that on a map. And there are 4 lanes wide. Now, a little bit of history on this. So it never used to be 4 lanes wide. In fact, it used to be 2 lanes. The reason for that was this was the area of town that was most populated down here, and people were demanding that there was some kind of infrastructure put in place to get them from point A to point B, especially being into Charlotte. Now, mind you, the Ballantyne Country Club has been there for a very long time. If you're in that neighborhood back in the 90s, think about that. That was a heck of a drive to get into Charlotte. All back roads, up Johnston, maybe up Park, a lot of traffic. So they needed this. So what did they do? They went ahead and started the Beltline in the south side, but they just wanted to get it done. So they went ahead and put 2 lanes on either side. Now, once they completed that loop, which was back in 2016 on the north side of the city, up near Prosperity Village area, once they completed that loop, then they jumped back down to the south side again to expand it further. So now we're looking at having 4 lanes plus some exit lanes that are added to the side to truly reduce some of the traffic. Now, I use the word traffic. I'm not talking LA, New York, Chicago, Atlanta traffic. I'm talking a little bit of a slowdown. So it's not bad, but we could always make it better. So we're trying to do that. Charlotte's also going to be growing, and it has been growing at a pretty phenomenal rate, which means we are going to probably double in size in the next 15 years or so, maybe sooner. Don't quote me on that. Go look it up. But I do know that it was quoted in, I'm trying to remember what magazine it was, that Charlotte was on the trajectory to be like an Atlanta. So infrastructure is a really big deal. I will say Charlotte has been doing a great job of getting ahead of the population growth to make sure that we've already got the infrastructure in place. So again, I'm on 485 South, and what I wanted to point out here, look at all the trees. There's trees everywhere. You don't really see anything commercial, which is amazing. And it's that way all the way around the 485 loop. No matter where you look, there's trees, which is awesome because I don't like seeing commercial stuff everywhere. So if you're looking for a city that is full of tree cover and shade and that sweet, sweet smell that you get in summer and springtime, you have found the right city. I-77 is one of the main veins, or the main vein, that cuts through Charlotte. It goes north-south into Charlotte, and it goes all the way up to Mooresville and all the way down through Rock Hill. So if you're trying to find the path of least resistance, that's your option. Now, if 77 is way backed up, the nice thing is you could always take the outer Beltline from north to south, or the inner from south to north to get to the other side. It's going to kind of swing you around outside of the city, but it's a win if there is stop dead traffic, which happens from time to time. Now, this is another main intersection. So this is where 485 on the south side intersects I-77. So now we are going to take this beautiful exit right here, the Columbia Charlotte exit. Now, it has both of those names there because if you go to the left, you're going to head south past Rock Hill into Columbia. If you go to the right, you're going to head into Charlotte and up towards Mooresville. Now, yeah, 77 does go all the way into Columbia. It also goes all the way north into Virginia. We're not going that far today. We're just going into Charlotte. But this is what that split looks like coming into 77 off of 485. Now, in most cases, for whatever reason, people do like to slow down in this little section right here, so I'm going to scoot around. And here we are. This is us merging onto I-77. Now, usually there's a little bit of backup right here where this merge comes in because you've got, well, 2 big interstates coming together. And probably we're going to see a little bit of taillights here in a minute, but it's not like it's going to completely stop. We're going to keep on cruising. It's just going to be a little bit of a slowdown. You can probably see it ahead of me already. It's like this all the time, but it's nothing that's going to stop you from being able to get into town. So here we go. Here's a slowdown. Not too bad. So like I said, you're still going to move, just not super crazy fast. I'm probably going about 35. And then right past here, right past Nations Ford, we're going to pick right back up and be ready to rock and roll. Now, when we're looking at the different roads that connect into I-77, some of the more major ones are Nations Ford, which flanks that lower region of Charlotte. Then you've got Tyvola, which is the next one up. Tyvola is the main vein that'll take you right into South Park. South Park, Barclay Downs, that area, another very affluent area of Charlotte. And if you've never been to the South Park Mall, shout out to my mom, it is her favorite place. It's beautiful shopping, definitely luxury shopping, Louis Vuitton, things of that nature. But you still got your standards like Express and Victoria's Secret, those kinds of things. Now, if you're more of a Bass Pro Shop kind of person, you're going to want to check out the Concord Mills Mall, which is on the northeast side of Charlotte. we're in the bougie area, so this is where we would be. So 𝗨𝘀 does connect directly in there, and you're going to see a major shift when you hop off the 𝗨𝘀 exit. There's the 𝗨𝘀 exit right there. Once you take that exit, you're going to see there's some more, I would say, office type, and even on the other side there's some office buildings. As you cross over South Boulevard flanks and runs north-south, paralleling I-77. So if you want to go the slow route, you can go there. Shout out to the ladies. Nordstrom Rack is on South Boulevard on the south side. Go check it out. But with South Boulevard, it's very interesting because you can tell that there's a big shift. You've heard of going across the tracks or over the tracks. And what that is in reference to is you go one street over or literally across the railroad tracks and you're in a completely different kind of neighborhood. Same goes for here. So when you cross the tracks, you're going to see some differences. Now, the route that I usually take to the South Park Mall is going to be this exit right there, Woodlawn. Woodlawn is another main area to get in to the South Park Mall or South Park area / Barclay Downs, etc. In addition, you can also get to Madison Park there. The Billy Graham Parkway, if you're not familiar with Billy Graham is a very popular, with a very large following, evangelicist. I'm going to try that again. Evangelicist? Well, you guys correct me in the comments. Anyway, a man of God. He has a very large church, very large following. And upon his passing, they did actually create this beautiful facility. It is quite gorgeous, where you can come and visit. There is a spot there called the Billy Graham Library as well. It is one of the top 10 attractions in Charlotte, which is really interesting. Kind of something to check out if you are of the faith. Check it out. Now, with that, down that same road will also take you to the airport. So that will be one of your many ways to get to the airport from I-77. And last but not least, on that same exit, you're also going to find the Charlotte Farmers Market. Now, this runs year-round, and in fact, there are some spots in the farmers market that are what I would consider built in. Not just you pull your table out, but instead they actually have their own facility, which is pretty cool. Now, we passed the Clayton Road exit, but that was one before. Remount Road, if you take this exit and you go to the right, you're going to come upon South End. Now, if you haven't seen any of my videos on South End, go check it out. And here, as you can see, we're coming closer into the city. Just over this ridge is Charlotte. So as we come around this bend here, you're going to see there are some major intersections happening. This is how we get into Charlotte from I-77, so I'm going to go ahead and take this right here. Now, there's a lot of different junctions that come here, whether you're going to I-77 or are off I-77. Right now, we are headed to 277. 277, which you saw from my other driving video coming from the north side, circles the city. And I say the city, not the town of Charlotte, the actual downtown city portion of Charlotte. This is circled, so it goes all the way around. When we come on to this entrance ramp here onto 277, sorry for the bumpiness, there she is. How gorgeous. Off to our left is going to be the Panthers Stadium. Then you've got the Duke Energy building right in front of us. Fun fact, did you know that the buildings actually get their names based upon the tenant who has the largest portion of rental? So, for example, Duke doesn't actually own that building. In fact, they are building their own building downtown, but the Duke building is named the Duke building because they are the largest tenant or leaseholder in that building, so they got to pick the name. I'm not sure if it'll stay the Duke building. I don't know. We'll see. So right on the other side of that very colorful building is a Whole Foods, and they have been building apartments like crazy. You're gonna see a couple coming up on the side right here right now. Even on the other side of 277, they have expanded building. One thing I will say about Charlotte, we have got cranes in the sky everywhere, which means things are being built. That's a good thing for the economy, for everybody, is that there are buildings being built. So is there going to be a crash in the market in Charlotte? Not with how many people are moving here. In fact, we still have less buyers than we have homes. Now, don't let that scare you. What it means is the demand will stay high enough that we won't have a bottoming out of the market. So let's take a look at what's in front of me right now. So I'm at the intersection of South Boulevard. My apologies, of South Boulevard. We're gonna go down to one of my favorite spots. But this is the view of the city from here. Now, those right there are $1 million townhouses. Actually, I should say multi-million dollar. One of the things that I love about these townhouses, look how pretty that is. So they're 3-story. They do have a garage in the back, very, very private. It overlooks the city, completely view of the city, which is great. At least on this angle it doesn't, but on the other side there are some. But they have these gorgeous top floor terraces, partially covered, partially not. I mean, the best place in town for a view of the city to enjoy a bottle of wine and to sit back and relax. And it's walking distance to South End, to the rail trail, to downtown Charlotte, you name it. Okay, so now I've got us going down South Boulevard. Now you're probably wondering, okay, we already reached Charlotte. Why are we still driving? Because I'm gonna go to one of my favorite places because I got a craving. So hang out with me for a second. You're gonna enjoy it. On the way down there, we can take a look at some of the architecture down here. So South Boulevard has been growing and building over the last couple of years, as you can see. So we are now headed southbound on South Boulevard. I'll show you some of the sights here in a second. Now this whole area is considered South End. There aren't any single family residences. It's all condos and townhouses. And it's a much younger age group actually. So your average age group is gonna be like 32, give or take. With that though, there have been some major construction endeavors that have gone down. But let me get back to what it used to be. It used to be a very commercial area. When I say commercial area, I mean warehouses and things of that nature, where it was not a place you wanted to be. But per usual, the artists came in, and there's actually galleries that are still here in the area. Artists came in, the rents went up, people wanted to be here. They installed the Blue Line, which is our train. And with that brought the rail trail, where people actually want to go out and walk around and ride their bikes and rollerblade and go out with their dogs. Well, then it became a destination. With that, restaurants, bars, and more buildings followed. You'll see what I mean in a second. All over South End, there are buildings like this going up, and it does not look at all like it used to. Now, it's still a very pedestrian-friendly area, as is noted by these shipping containers. But whether it be commercial buildings, apartments, condos, you name it, it's going up. Now, literally across the street from South Boulevard is Dilworth. So Dilworth is off to the other side. We're gonna go past 𝗖𝗍 Pizza here in just a second, which is a very well-known spot on the corner of South Boulevard. So it's kind of, remember we talked about going across the tracks? Well, you're going from Dilworth, which is very old, one of the oldest, most historic parts of Charlotte, as noted by the beautiful bungalow homes and wraparound porches, some homes smaller, some homes larger, into what we consider one of the newest districts in Charlotte. And I say newer in a sense of Charlotte has been around for many, 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 many decades. This has showed up in the last 10 years. In fact, when I moved here, none of this was here. That's gonna give you an indication of how quickly this area has grown, and it's not done yet. They say sky is the limit. Well, guess what? The sky is one of the biggest real estate assets in Charlotte, because as some of these areas get a little bit more populated, the only place to go is up. So there is the gas station right down there is Dilworth. And right here, it's still known as 𝗖𝗍, or Fuel Pizza. I said slice, Fuel Pizza. Fuel Pizza is finally closed. And there's one of the oldest firehouses. So right over here is Atherton Mills. Now it might not look like a mill, that's because all of that is new, but behind it, there are still the smokestack from the original mill. So they've kept a good bit of it, but they've actually built up around it, which is pretty neat. Now I want to point this out for all the New Yorkers out there. That place right there, the name of it is Poppy's. Poppy's has the best bagels in all of Charlotte. I will stake my New York reputation on the fact that it's the best bagel, so you gotta go check it out. And again, coming up here, we're a little bit further south on South Boulevard right now. All of these buildings have been built really within the last probably 7 or 8 years, which is amazing to think about how much construction has happened. And once again, as construction has happened throughout the Charlotte area, they have done a phenomenal job of keeping up with the infrastructure, right? So I have family that is still in Asheville, North Carolina, where they're approving subdivision after subdivision, apartment complex after apartment complex, and they're still emptying out onto 2-lane roads. When I say 2-lane, I mean one each way, 1-lane road, one each direction. The traffic was already bad, and now it's just being made worse by all of this approval for all of these people to move there. Charlotte is working diligently to make sure that's not going to be an issue. We are a driving city, so if you're moving here from an area that has a lot of public transportation, we do have public transportation, but more than likely you're going to be driving yourself. So the roads have to keep up, and they've done a really good job of doing that. Now here we have another luxury condo development going in. As you can see, there's quite a few down here because the population has certainly grown. But with this, you see that landing right there? That's actually going to be a pool. In fact, a lot of what they're doing now are mixed use, which what they're doing is they're putting in a usually parking on the ground floor and up behind it. They're putting some kind of commercial use, so whether it be shops and things like that, on the main floor, and then apartments up top. So they're putting the pool actually elevated, so it's a lot easier for their people to, not only the people that live there, to use it, but it also gives them retail space or commercial space on the ground floor. Pretty cool. Now, I missed it. We did pass a really great spot for food called Southbound and Down. It's a Tex-Mex place. But right now, we're coming up on one of my favorite places right on the rail trail. So right now, I am right next to the rail trail, or I'm on the rail trail, right next to the train. That is downtown Charlotte. And on the other side is the street that is rather loud behind me. But I'm at one of my favorite spots. Spoons. So what better place to be on a hot summer day than a delicious acai bowl place? So I'm gonna go get me a bite to eat. Absolute yum. So that is a tour of us driving all the way from South Charlotte and Ballantyne, touring the Ballantyne Country Club up into Charlotte. If you have questions, if you're moving to the area, I don't care if it's 9 days or 90 days from now, whether you're moving across the country or just across town, give me a call, text, email. All my contact information is below in the description. I want to make your move exactly what you want it to be. So if you've got any questions or comments, drop them in the comments below. I want to hear from you. What are some of your favorite parts of Charlotte? Till next time, I look forward to showing you around town.